Good morning, traders. I am Emily Vani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Thursday, May 30th. We head into the final days of trading in May today after stocks weakened yesterday. During regular trading, all three major indices ended in the red. The Dow lost 411 points, or more than 1%. The S&P 500 shed 39 points, or about 0.75%. The Nasdaq gave up 99 points, or more than 0.5%. Bill, let's get into today's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Hi, yes, good morning, Emily. Watch this. I'm looking at the S&Ps. The S&Ps are down 0.4, so 1%. And, it's going to be a negative opening, and a lot of that is due to, the Salesforce results. I mean, the stock's off, over 15%, 15.71% this morning, and that is a big factor on why you're seeing the Dow futures being down so much. Their report was modestly disappointing last night. It wasn't horrible, but it was not, stellar. I mean, then you got a situation where we got rising treasury yields. That's also weighing on stocks. So we got multiple factors going on here today. A key economic report today is really before the bell with that revision to the Q1 data. It's supposed to come in weaker than the 1.6 that came out earlier. So that GDP weakening data could, cause some nervousness in the markets. One thing I find interesting earlier this morning, banks are trading a little lower this morning, but they were trading higher this morning. And the semiconductors, for the most part, we're seeing weakness there as well. Atlanta Fed Bank President Raphael Bostic was out last night saying the Fed still has a long way to go before he feels comfortable lowering rates. Got a lot of good earnings coming out this afternoon. Costco, DELL, MRVL, NTAP, Network Appliances, ULTA Beauty, and Zscaler. So, we got a lot of good stuff, coming up. We're looking at the European markets this morning, and the European markets are showing, they are in the green. They are showing a little bit of, positive action. You got the DAX up, 8 points or 0.04%, not much, but it is higher. You got the FTSE up 34 points at 0.42%. You get the CAC up 18 points. It's 0.23%. I mean, healthcare is like the best performing sector out there. That Eurozone consumer confidence data was slightly positive. That's helping keep those stocks in the green. Then we're looking last night in Asia where we saw, a lot of red. The Nikkei dropped 502 points. That's 1.30%. We're seeing the Hang Seng dropped 246 points. That's 1.34%. The Shanghai dropped 19 points, which is 0.62%. Hong Kong, hey, those tech stocks really led the decline. They're displaying caution ahead of that, ahead of some key economic data. I mean, we got the PCE tomorrow from the U.S., and there's a big one out of China coming out tonight or tomorrow morning, however you want to look at it. So that is causing a little concern, and obviously the property stocks were weak in Asia last night as well. In terms of oil, we're keeping an eye on oil this morning, with these rising bond yields happening, and stockpiles data. You're seeing oil weaken. WTI, $78.97 a barrel. That's down 0.33%. You got Brent at $83.24. That's down 0.43%. You look at that API report that came out last night after the bell. These are the estimates. Remember, the estimates show that crude oil inventories fell by 6.49 million barrels last week. Now you get the official data, the EIA, the Energy Information Administration. Their data is coming out at 10:30 this morning, 1 hour after the opening bell. We could see a draw there too, and if it's a big draw, that's going to weaken oil prices even further. And then, on top of that, you get the PCE tomorrow, and then you have that OPEC meeting happening on Sunday. The OPEC meeting, I'm not really. I think they're just going to punt, and they're going to kick the can down the road. They're not going to make any changes to their voluntary price production curbs that they have in place. That's what I've been reading. It's an online meeting. It's not an in-person meeting, and with an online meeting, it's never as serious as the in-person meeting. So, not expecting much out of the OPEC meeting. But that EIA report today, that could be a big driver for oil prices today. And that's what I have for you in terms of a morning markets update report, Emily.
Bill, and there are a number of things to point out, including that earnings action, also those economic events, as you mentioned, and we're going to get to all of that, plus other market moving news throughout the show. We're going to start with earnings action, number of big ones to come out. Really, that headline is that Salesforce report that no one's really happy with. They missed there, and some interesting ones coming out. So give us a rundown of everything we should be watching when it comes to earnings.
Sure. Let's take a look here. Okay, we have Pure Storage. That's ticker PSTG. Paul, Sam, Tom, Grace. These guys beat by 11 cents. They did it on higher revenue. Stocks up 8.27%. HPQ, Hewlett Packard, or HP.com. Henry Paul Quinton. They beat by a penny. They did it on higher revenue. HP is up 4.42% this morning. That's good to see. But then you have Algian, which beat by 3 cents, but it was done on lower revenue. That stock's down 12.7% this morning. And then you get Salesforce. Beat by 7 cents, lower revenue. Big guidance was, not great either. And you look at Salesforce, it's down 15.69%, or 40, or down $42 this morning. So Salesforce really took it on the chin. This morning, Kohl's also report, that's ticker KSS. I don't have a quick. I know it doesn't look like they had a good report. Stocks down big this morning. The stock's down 22% or $6. So yeah, Kohl's really delivered a miss. It just came out. Upcoming, we have a number of good reports coming out. We have ticker VEEV, Victor Edward Victor. Via Systems, their EPS is $1.43. Expected move is 8.90%. You got Marvel Technologies, ticker MRVL. Their EPS is 23 cents. Expected move here is 8.48%. Then you get DELL Technologies. Their EPS is $1.25. Expected move is 10.99%. And Costco Wholesale, ticker COST, Charlie Oscar Sam Tom. Their EPS is $3.70, and expected move is 4.32% when they release this afternoon, Emily.
Bill, plenty to be keeping track of there. You're also keeping track of the economic events of the day, number of reports, and some Fed speak. So give us a look at everything we should be watching when it comes to the day's economic events.
Okay, it's an active day. Hey, 8:30 a.m. we get the GDP data. Remember, this is a revision. The revised data expected to come in at 1.2 from the other version that came in at 1.6% growth. So slightly lower growth for Q1. Then you get jobless claims. Jobless claims are expected to rise to 218,000 from 215,000 last week. Okay, that's not too bad. That's in line. It's as long as it's not a major number. Then at 8:30 a.m. we also have the international trade in goods and services. Then at 11 a.m. now we get the EIA oil stockpiles reports. Remember, this report typically comes out at 10:30 on Wednesdays, but because Monday was a holiday, it's coming out 1 day later and a half hour later. So it's due out at 11 a.m. This morning. Estimates are for a drawdown. We'll have to see if that happens. I'm a little bit concerned. I think it will weaken oil prices when this report comes out. Then we got a number of Fed speak to this morning. John Williams from the New York Fed, he's going to be speaking at 12:05 p.m. And then at 5 p.m. Eastern time, we're also going to be hearing from Dallas Fed Bank President Lori Logan. She's a key one. That's what I have for you in terms of economic data points happening today, Emily.
And again, as if all of that is not enough to keep track of, you're still watching other types of news using your NewsWare. You're looking at things like guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news. You can look at stocks grouped together to catch trends on the day, like your FANG stocks, your Dow 30 stocks, seeing and gathering what information and data is coming out of different sectors and segments. So, Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
I'm just looking at my Dow stocks this morning, and I got 15 higher, 13 lower, 2 unchanged. But it's at Salesforce. It's really weighing on the Dow stocks this morning. It's just crushing them. Then you look at the FANG stocks. I'm seeing gains in Tesla and Apple. The rest are, slightly lower. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But let's talk about some of the news that's in the tape, like Amazon. Amazon said customers can now order Grubhub directly from Amazon.com. So it's kind of positive for Amazon. Google is planning to invest 2 billion to establish a data center in Malaysia. And Netflix, this is interesting because Netflix is trading a little weaker this morning. It's down like $1, but they apparently are going to be developing a music competition show. This is similar to like those shows like American Idol or The Voice. It's apparently in the works, and that could be something interesting as they kind of get away from movies and try and do this type of reality TV genre, because the reality TV stuff, it's cheap to produce. It's really cheap. Then we're talking Dow Jones 30 stocks, and we got to start off with Disney, ticker DIS. That shareholder activist Nelson Peltz, he sold his entire position after losing that proxy battle. He says he sold it at the 100 when the stock was at 120, which would mean like a 30% gain on this. I don't think he sold that. Maybe he sold some shares out, but he did. He's no longer holding a Disney position apparently. Then we got Visa. Ticker V is in Visa. The CEO, Visa's up big today. It's up 0.8%. The CEO of Visa is presenting today at that Bernstein Strategic Decisions Conference today. That's interesting. And IBM is acquiring Skyarc Networks, which is a Japanese firm. They're acquiring this firm to enhance their cloud-based offering, which I think is interesting. In terms of guidance news, LG and ticker A, they see Q3 EPS coming in at $1.25 to $1.28. The street estimate was $1.45. Big miss. Salesforce.com, ticker CRM, they see Q2 adjusted EPS coming in $2.34 to $2.36. Street estimates $2.40. Hey, that's what happens when you're a winner quarter after quarter. Things get pushed a little bit too. The bar gets pushed really high for you. But let's talk HPQ, Henry Paul Quinton, HP Inc. They see Q3 EPS coming in 78 cents to 92 cents. It's kind of a wide range, but the street estimate's 85 cents. So, that's not bad. Let's talk, shareholder meetings going on. JetBlue is holding an investors day today. That's ticker JBLU, John Boy, Larry Uncle. But, there's a couple good, meetings going on, conferences going on, like that Bernstein conference I told you about earlier. I said, the Visa CEO is going to be presenting at that conference. Applied Materials CEO, he's going to be presenting today. Texas Instruments and American Express, their CEOs are going to be speaking at this conference today. So, yeah, this could be something positive for AMAT, TI, AXP. Well, Visa's already trading higher on the news that he's speaking. And Goldman's having a semiconductor conference today where, personnel from Micron and Intel and Lam Research are all said to be presenting. So we got a lot of good activity in that sector today, sector of news. Let's talk buyback news. Zimmer Biomet, that's ticker ZBH, Zebra Boy Henry. These guys announced, they had the investors presentation yesterday, and at the end of the day they announced their decisions for the board announced their decision that they're going to be purchasing up to $2 billion worth of common stock. So that's positive for ticker ZBH, Zebra Boy Henry. Stock looks like it's going to rally hard this morning, though. You want to keep an eye on it. Last trade was $115.14. Looked bid offers 115.50 to 130. So yeah, I could see some strong gains. But that's what I have for you in terms of news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. It is now that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what is your pick of the day today?
Going with Marvel Technologies, ticker MRVL, Michael, Richard, Victor, Larry. Earnings are out after the bell. EPS is 11 cents. Expected move is 13.12%. Looking at yesterday's call volume, 21,811 calls traded versus 13,484 puts. Then you look at the open interest, 343,655 calls versus 268,365 puts. So, yeah, it's positive in both sectors. Major brokers are positive on the stock. They have been raising price targets, and that's good to see. And Last quarter they did deliver poor guidance and the stock did sell off, but they did announce a 3 billion share buyback. So I'm not going to expect a buyback this quarter, but the way they put their guidance was 23 cents plus or minus 5 cents. I think it's going to be plus. I think they do deliver a beat here. Guidance is a key factor again this quarter coming up, but I got to get in at a discount here, and I think that you're going to see some weakness this morning in the semiconductor. So if I can get in at $75, 74 and 75 cents to $75, somewhere in that range, I think I'm going to get a winner here. So, my pick of the day is Marvel Technologies, ticker MRVL, Michael, Richard, Victor, Larry, Emily.
And we will watch Marvel along with you today. And coming up, we're going to do a recap on yesterday's pick of the day, which was heading into earnings. And we're going to see what happened with that one in just a moment. But ahead of that, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, take it away.
Let's see. What do I see here? Ticker INMB, India, Nancy, Michael Boy. They're going to be joining the Russell 3000. When are they joining there? They're joining the Russell 3000 index at the conclusion of on July 1st. Okay. All right. That's a ways away. Who else I saw was Shockwave Medical. They were bought up by Johnson & Johnson, so they're going to be leaving the S&P 400, and SRPT, Sam, Richard, Paul, Tom is going to be replacing them in the S&P 400 on Monday, June 3rd. Google and augmented reality startup Magic Leap to form strategic technology partnership. That's interesting. This is on Amazon. Amazon.com announced that they got FAA permission to expand their Prime Air operations. This is for drone deliveries. Still don't like drone deliveries. CRBL, that's Cracker Barrel. CBRL. Yeah, stock's up 14 cents. So they did report earnings, but they kind of pre-reported that everything was going to be negative. So but they delivered a beat of 22 cents, and that was done on lower revenue. Coal sees full year 2024 EPS $1.25 to $1.85, where the street estimate has it at $2.33. That's a big miss. And Kohl's reported a loss of 24 cents. The street estimate was 4 cents. That's a 28-cent miss. Best Buy, they delivered a 12-cent beat on lower revenue. Dollar General met revenue expectations, but they did deliver an 8-cent beat on EPS. Amazon's working with Grubhub for convenience and affordability and restaurant delivery. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Boeing to detail quality training improvements in the FAA meeting. That's going to be happening later today. Alphabet, Google, Amazon, and Airbnb won the backing of Europe's top court against their fight against the Italian rule requiring them to provide information on themselves. JP Morgan plans to grow its headcount in India by 5 to 7% annually over the next few years. Visa and MasterCard have agreed to pay $197 million to resolve a class action lawsuit by consumers accusing the financial payment companies of keeping cash excess fees artificially high. Ooh, that's a cheap fine. McDonald's came out and denounced the viral reports that runaway Big Mac prices has painted an inaccurate picture of the company, which is seen as profits surging as of late. But the stock's getting smoked. It's due for a turnaround soon, but because I think that $5 meal they're going to start offering at the end of June, I think that's going to really help their revenue, towards later in the fall. So keep watching it for weakness. McDonald's is a potential turnaround story. Tesla is preparing to register its fully self-driving software with authorities in China. That's all I have for you this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we get to trading today, let's do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day, which was UiPath. Now, they did release earnings yesterday, which came in pretty strong. They reported an EPS of 13 cents per share. The expected here had been 12 cents per share. Revenue for the quarter grew 16% year over year to $335.11 million. The expected here was about $333 million. But there's more to the story here. They also announced a CEO shakeup. The current CEO is resigning effective June 1 and will be replaced by co-founder Daniel Dines, will be coming back after stepping down just recently, really. They also had a little problem with their guidance. UiPath said it now expects the current quarter revenue of $300 million to $305 million. Even the top of that estimate is well below the expectations of $333 million. For the full year, the company did have a downward revision in its guidance. It now expects net sales to be $1.405 billion to $1.41 billion, and that was well below an earlier forecast of $1.555 billion and $1.56 billion. So there's a lot of moving pieces on this one. But Bill, you probably wiping your brow this morning because I'm pretty sure you got out of it before all of that happened. Give us a look. How did your call work out?
It worked out good. I mean, I made money on it. I made money on it a couple times. I was in and out of it a couple times yesterday. I mean, listen, the stock opened up at $18.38 and it fell to $18.08. I saw that. I got in at 18.29. I got out at 18.52. That's 1%. I did the trade later in the day, when I saw weakness set in. I did some in the aftermarket as well. So yeah, Path was a winner for me. In terms of the port, listen, CEO's leaving. I got to tell you something. Even though he's being replaced by the former chief executive officer, it's still not good. Something bad is going on there. Yeah, whenever you see a CEO change, you always got to question yourself. And funds sell stocks when they see CEO changes. So especially when it's abrupt like this. So I was happy that I made money. Path was a winner for me. But I'm glad I'm not holding it today, Emily.
It feels like an extra when you get that 1% and get out when it is down about 30% this morning. So that is a huge win. And we will check in with you tomorrow about today's Marvel pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow to end your trading week with NewsWare's Trade Talk, when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Vani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.